It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.
Hey guys, Tyler here. More recently, Netanyahu decided to have a speech directly towards congressmen, and sure enough, there were many people who were actually protesting against the policies of Israel and what they perceived to be a genocide against the Palestinian people. Now, more recently on Fox and Friends, Donald Trump had decided to comment on an event that actually occurred with the protesters about the case of flag burning. And so, without further hesitation, let's react to what he had to say out loud.
What does a Donald Trump do if he takes office to these people on the street?
Rarely have we seen anything like this, and I think you should get a 1-year jail sentence if you do anything to desecrate the American flag. Now, people will say, oh, it's unconstitutional. Those are stupid people. Those are stupid people that say that. We have to work in Congress to get a 1-year jail sentence when they're allowed to stomp on the flag and put lighter fluid on the flag and set it afire. And when you're allowed to do that, you get a 1-year jail sentence and you'll never see it again. And all over the world, Putin and President Xi of China, all over the world, they're watching this. Kim Jong-un, he looks at us like we're a bunch of babies. They see that. That wouldn't happen in their countries. It's impossible for that to happen in their country. Where we look so bad to the world. That was a disgraceful display yesterday.
First and foremost, I understand the frustration of Donald Trump when it comes down to burning the flag, because on one hand, I do understand that more or less that people have the freedom to basically express themselves. And so as a classical liberal, even if it's like speech that I don't necessarily like, the people who do that still have that particular right to express how they feel about a particular country. And so sometimes, as a way of protest, one way to show that you don't necessarily actually agree with a country's policies is to burn that particular flag. And of course, the flag means many things for many patriotic Americans. And so naturally, seeing somebody burning the flag is not the most nicest of things you can possibly watch. That being said, he is completely wrong in saying that what the protesters have done is completely anti-constitutional. To give you guys a general context about the whole entire case about flag burning in the United States, back in 1968, Congress approved the federal flag desecration law after a Vietnam War protest. The law made it illegal to knowingly cast contempt upon any flag of the United States. However, let's fast forward to 1989 with the case of Texas versus Johnson for the Supreme Court. Gregory Lee Johnson burned an American flag outside the convention center where the 1984 Republican National Convention was being held in Dallas, Texas. Johnson burned the flag to protest the policies of President Ronald Reagan. He was arrested and charged with violating a Texas statute that prevented the desecration of an object, including the American flag, as such actions were likely to incite anger in others. A Texas court tried and convicted Johnson. He appealed, arguing that his actions were symbolic speech protected by the First Amendment. The Supreme Court agreed to hear his case. Now, when it comes down to the agreement about this particular case, there were actually 5 votes that was actually in favor of the notion that burning the flag was actually protected speech, whereas 4 judges actually voted that was not necessarily protected speech. It says right here that the majority of the court agreed with Johnson and held that flag burning constituted a form of symbolic speech that is protected by the First Amendment. The majority noted that freedom of speech protects actions that society may find very offensive, but society outrage alone is not justification for suppressing free speech. Now that we got that out the way, it's very important to state that there's a difference between private property and public property. That is to say that if something is owned directly by the state, that's actually publicly owned property by the government. Meanwhile, if somebody bought their own personal flag, for example, as private property, they can do whatever they want to without any sort of state persecution. However, in the context of that particular protest against the state of Israel, the flag in question was actually owned directly by the state. Therefore, what we see right now was actually a case of vandalism. Now let's look at DC law when it comes to the whole entire issue about defacing public or private property. It says right here, it shall be unlawful for any persons or person willfully cut, chip, or cover, rub with, or otherwise place filth or increment of any kind to write, mark, or print obscure or indecent figures representing obscure an object upon, to write, mark, draw, or paint without the consent of the owner or proprietor thereof, or in the case of public property, of the person having charge, custody, control thereof, any word, sign, or figure upon. Any property, public or private, building, statue, monument, office, public passenger vehicle, mass transport equipment, or faculty, the doors, windows, steps, railing, fencing, balconies, stairs, porches, halls, walls, size, or any enclosure thereof, or any movable property. Now, the consequences for destroying such items are up to like $1,000 or more and can be punished by incarceration up to 10 years in jails with fines up to $5,000 or both. In short, the people that actually defaced the flag will already be fined or be put to jail anyway because that flag was not necessarily private property. It was actually public property. But anyway, what do you guys think about my response to Donald Trump? Tell me in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see you guys next video.
It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.